Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Once again, here on the Sunday before the big race, for the last 9 and Fast 9 shootouts. Today we will officially set the 33 car field for the Indianapolis 250 this Saturday, May 27th at noon Eastern Time. But we will also send 3 drivers home here, and we will start off with the last 9 shootout here today. 9 drivers, the 9 slowest drivers from yesterday's qualifying session, all will post a lap, or at least attempt to do so. And of course, if you're Thomas Troxell, you know that anything can happen. You may not even get a lap in. But all 9 drivers have 5 minutes to get a lap in here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The fastest 6 of these 9 will be in the show, and the slowest 3 will fail to qualify for the Indianapolis 250. And then afterwards, we will go to the Fast 9 shootout and go for the pole here. It'll be 10 bonus points towards the championship for whoever wins the pole position for this race as well. But we start off with the last 9 shootout. Bump day here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The 5th time we have done this, and here are the 9 drivers who are at a threat to fail to qualify. Thomas Troxell in the 42 will go out first. Of course, the order you see on your screen there is the order they will go out here in this last 9 shootout. And of course, Thomas Troxell didn't even get a time in yesterday as he had a mechanical issue during his 5-minute session. And because of that, he will be the first driver out. He was officially slowest than Matt Tuck in the number 51, Alexander Rowe in the number 12, Aaron Abel in the 97, Caleb Rose in the 3, Ace Garcia in the 27, Jacob Walker in the 88, Angel Olvera in the 1, and Bruno Di Giacomo in the 80 machine. 3 of those 9 drivers will fail to qualify for this Indianapolis 250. But unlike past years, the 3 drivers who do fail to qualify will run in the Freedom 50 this year as a consolation. Of course, they will not receive any championship points towards the Haas IndyCar Series, but they still will be a part of a race next weekend, next Friday at noon, or this Friday at noon, I should say, here on AG, the channel. But it's pretty straightforward. Everyone gets a lap, and the top 6 fastest times will start in positions 28th through 33rd for the Indy 250, and then the slowest 3 times will fail to qualify for this year's race. Let's see how it all goes down. A lot of strong drivers in this last 9 shootout. Who's it going to be going home, or at least going to the Freedom 50 here in this year's Indianapolis 250? Let's get it started and find out. Thomas Troxell, the first driver. Let's see if he can get a lap in this time here in the last 9 shootout. And here we go to begin the last 9 shootout, the most crucial part of the entire week here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And if you're not one of the fastest 6 drivers in this session, you are not going to be in the Indianapolis 250. And always a heartbreak when you fail to qualify for this race. And Thomas Troxell, of course, yesterday failed to get a time in. He's going to be able to get the gas down the backstretch this time, so he will post a time. Now, one other thing I would like to mention, the weather conditions are identical to what we had yesterday. We did that on purpose so we can compare the times these drivers had yesterday in the main qualifying session to what they are going to have today. Of course, for Thomas Troxell's case, he never even posted a time yesterday, but in comparison to some of the other times we had, this one's looking pretty fast. 2:22 into the corner. And we kind of expected this out of Troxell to be really fast in qualifying yesterday, but he never got a time in. 2:14 is a minimum there off of turn number 3. And if you compare to the times that we had yesterday, this is absolutely one that should make the show. Of course, he is the first driver in this last 9 shootout, so still don't know what the other 8 drivers are going to do, but if Troxell can hold this time fairly well, going to minimize at 2:11 off the exit of turn number 4. Looks like Thomas Troxell should have a good time here, comparable to a lot of the other times that were in the Fast 9 yesterday. 40.879. Actually, take that back. That's actually a bit slower. That's exactly what Skylar Taylor posted yesterday, so we'll have to see if that's enough. 48.79 for Thomas Troxell. Let's get on to our next driver, Matt Tuck in the 51. Here we go for our second driver in the last 9 shootout, Matt Tuck in the 51. Another big name who clocked in a time yesterday, but clocked in the slowest time that we had yesterday, a 41.166. Over about half a second slower than the fastest time set by Knapp. And that might not be too much of a difference when you really think about it, but here at Indianapolis, even though these guys are carrying the speeds that they are, it is such a small margin of error between whether or not you get into the Fast 9 or into the last 9. And that's exactly what happened right there with Matt Tuck with the slowest time in yesterday's qualifying session. Looking to be quicker here today. And hit 221 in the turn number 1 right there. A little bit slower than what Troxell did, but Troxell had a bit slower second half of his lap, so this is going to get a little interesting right here. Minimum of 214 off of turn 2, so solid through 1 and 2 right there from Matt Tuck. This will definitely be faster than what he did yesterday. Will he hit 227? He will, so that's a good sign for the 51. But it's just going to come down to whether these next 7 guys, if they're all like this time right here, it's going to be hard to make it in even with a fast time. Minimum of 211, just barely hit it. I feel like this might be a bit faster than Troxell's time. A solid second half of his lap right here. Across the line, 4,800. And that will defeat Troxell at least. So Matt Tuck currently the fastest in this last 9 shootout, but both Tuck and Troxell have solid times. It's going to get interesting here with these next 7 drivers. Jacob, or should I say Alexander Rowe, next driver in line here in the last 9 shootout. Alexander Rowe, next driver in line here in the last 9 shootout. We'll have to see what he can end up pulling off here. Very, very tough day for Trackhouse Racing in the first day of qualifying, as all 3 of their drivers in this last 9 shootout, and there is a mathematical chance that all 3 of them could fail to qualify. Alexander Rowe, Angel Olvera, and Caleb Rose all in this last 9 shootout. Alexander Rowe attempting his first ever Indianapolis 250, but his driver Max Anderson has been in many of these events in the past. We'll have to see what Alexander Rowe can do here. Solid time set by Matt Tuck and Thomas Troxell, so it's going to be interesting to see what Rowe can do. Looking pretty quick in the turn 1. 222 in the turn number 1, but as we have seen, not necessarily a good measure for how well these guys do at the end of the lap, because it's the second half of the lap that really determines it. But a great exit there off of turn 2, minimizing at 215. Rowe really carrying the speed. He's going to hit 228 for a second there. And if he can keep the speed off the exit of turn number 4, I think this is going to be the fastest time of this last 9 shootout. Alexander Rowe minimizing at 212. This will absolutely be the fastest time so far here today. And Alexander Rowe across the line, 40.640. That time right there is the second quickest time of the weekend. And that should be good enough for Alexander Rowe to make it into the Indianapolis 250. 4th driver here in this last 9 shootout, Aaron Abel, who was quickest in practice a week ago in the full-time practice session that we had. And this would absolutely be a surprise, because Aaron Abel up there in the points standings as well. It's been a great season for him, even though he's not gone the victory lane yet this season. But NS Racing, it's been all or nothing for this team. Knapp posted the fastest time yesterday, Aaron Abel's teammate. But both Abel and Di Giacomo, the Indy 250 only driver for this team in this last 9 shootout. So Aaron Abel trying to avoid the fate that may be his if he's not fast enough here. If he can beat everybody who's already gone out, he's guaranteed a spot in the Indy 250, 220 across the line. He's not going to hit 222, but he held 221 for quite a while right there. 214 off of turn 1. And we'll have to see what the speed is off of turn number 2. He's going to hit 214 for a little bit right there, so not quite as fast as Alexander Rowe, but looking like a comparable time to Matt Tuck's speed that he had. 227 there for quite a while there for Aaron Abel. Minimizing at 216 off of turn number 3. And this is really the money spot right here. 211 for just a split second, so you get that speed coming to the checker flag for your lap. Should be a good lap for Aaron Abel. 750, second quickest. So it's not a guarantee for Abel quite yet. Alexander Rowe is guaranteed into the Indy 250. And now, if I'm Thomas Troxell, I might be worrying a little bit here. An 8.79 might not cut it. We're just going to have to wait and see. Only 5 drivers left here in this last 9 shootout. Caleb Rose, 5th driver of this last 9 shootout. And for Caleb Rose's case, he has failed to qualify for this race in the past. And that came in 2021 when he failed to qualify. It was going to be his first running of this race, but it did not happen. And Caleb Rose definitely in a position where he could fail to qualify once again. He's got to beat a 5, or should I say a 7.50, 47.50, I should say, in order to lock a spot at this point into the Indy 250. I did mistakenly say yesterday that he was in the last 9 shootout last year. That was not the case. He qualified his way in on Saturday. But he's here on Sunday in the last 9 shootout across the line. He's going to be 220 before he crosses the yard of bricks. He'll barely hit 222 there in the turn number 1. And now, if you're Thomas Troxell, I mean, this isn't looking good at all. We thought that time might be good enough, but all these guys really cooking it here today. And this is akin to Alexander Rowe's time, I feel like. So good lap time here for Caleb Rose, at least. It's trending in that direction. No 228 for him here. Little bit slower there on turn number 3 than Alex in a row, but I think a bit more closer to the Aaron Abel's time right here, minimizing at 212. So Caleb Rose should be able to make it into the Indy 250 with this lap across the line. 40.724. That's 29th. And Caleb Rose is in the Indianapolis 250 for 2023. Ace Garcia, another Indy 250 veteran here in this last 9 shootout. One thing I am noticing, though, a lot of very quick times here in this session. And like I said, the weather conditions are identical to that of yesterday, so no surprise. Well, actually, a bit surprised to see him consistently run quick here in this session because they were kind of all over the board yesterday. But we have ourselves 2 times who would have made it into the Fast 9 shootout at this point. So we're just going to have to wait and see how it ends up shaking out. But Ace Garcia here in the 27. Not at all the position he wants to be in here. Coming across the line, 219, 220. Uh-oh. It's amazing just how much these guys have to push in order to make it on. And another thing, too, these times, these drivers have been getting faster and faster. I mean, these guys were faster than Matt Tuck, Aaron Abel, Caleb Rose at this point yesterday. So these cars are consistently getting faster. Going to barely hit 227, but at this point, that might not be enough. That was good enough for yesterday to avoid the last 9 shootout, but it might not be good enough to avoid elimination here today. 211 is a minimum there for Ace Garcia. Not looking good for the Indy 250 veteran across the line. 40.855. That's good news for Matt Tuck. That is not good news for Thomas Troxell. And, of course, it's not good news for Ace Garcia either. This is going to get interesting here. Let's wait and see. We got ourselves 3 drivers left. And we'll push someone below that red line with Jacob Walker coming out next onto the racetrack. Jacob Walker wasting no time getting out onto the racetrack here. The number 88 machine for Webb Racing Enterprises. Of course, Jim Vincenleff in the race. Vincenleff qualified 14th. But Jacob Walker on the other end of this one here and qualifying 30th. And I know Drew Webb kind of won a bit of an underdog story with this team. Well, we'll have to see if Jacob Walker can knock off Ace Garcia and Thomas Troxell below this line. Thomas Troxell on the bubble, slowest so far. It is not looking good for Troxell at this point. But let's see what Jacob Walker can do. He's already 220 across the line. Now here's the thing. Troxell was 222 in the turn 1. With one of the fastest speed traps in the turn 1 in this session. But the second half of his lap was dismal. There's just something amiss on that 42. We saw it yesterday. Couldn't even get a time in. We'll have to see what Walker can do here down the backstretch. He's going to hit 227. This is another time right here that could be right around Matt Tuck's time. And for Matt Tuck's case, I know Matt wants this to be below a 48. It's 211 for quite a while. This is going to be right around that 51. Here we go across the line for Jacob Walker in the 88. Thomas Troxell will fail to qualify for the Indianapolis 250. Jacob Walker is in the Indianapolis 250. 40.771. And Webb Racing Enterprises David beating Goliath right there with Jacob Walker in the great race. Thomas Troxell has failed to qualify for the Indianapolis 250. Absolutely unbelievable. Angel Olvera next in line here. Indy 250 fast last 9 shootout. And I went back and looked at Troxell's time, just tried to see where he may have made the mistake. And Thomas Troxell, just flabbergasted at what has gone wrong with Troxell this year. 222 for Olvera in the turn 1. And this is not good for Ace Garcia, who is also on the bubble at the moment. And if Olvera can beat a 40.800, he'll make it into the Indianapolis 250. And Trackhouse Racing, you got to hand it to them. They got the 2 fastest times right now in this last night shootout. They came with a vengeance. They knew that they needed to get something to work their way, and they definitely took the time overnight to put some speed in these race cars here in Indianapolis. Just barely hit 211, so this should do it for Olvera. The number 1 gonna make it on. Gonna be a 40.706. That is good enough for 29th. How about Trackhouse Racing? All 3 of their drivers, top 3 in this session. But unfortunately, Ace Garcia has also failed to qualify for the Indianapolis 250. And now it's going to be down to 2 Indy 250 only drivers. Bruno Di Giacomo or Matt Tuck. One of those 2 will fail to qualify. Let's see who it is, as Di Giacomo is the last driver here in this last 9 shootout. And here we go. This is the most tense moment of the entire weekend, I feel like. Right when you got 1 driver left in this last 9 shootout, they have to beat a time to make it in. That's Bruno Di Giacomo. Has to be at a 40.800. And if he is below that time, or slower than that time, I should say, Matt Tuck makes it in. If he is faster, Matt Tuck will fail to qualify for this Indianapolis 250. Ace Garcia and Thomas Troxell have both already failed to qualify. Both drivers will be in the Indianapolis, or should I say the Freedom 50 on Friday. But Bruno Di Giacomo in the 80. This is going to be a very tense moment for this NS Racing team. They had the fastest time with Knapp yesterday, so obviously these guys are quick, but Di Giacomo just barely missed out. And you got to think, too, Di Giacomo, for the longest time, only needed 1 driver to be slower than him, and he would have locked a spot onto the Indy 250. That was not the case. So many of those guys that went in late in the session were faster than him, and here he is, the last driver in the last 9 shootout, trying to beat Matt Tuck's time to make it in to the Indianapolis 250. It'd be the biggest race Di Giacomo's ever been in if he can get it done, and I know Matt Tuck does not want him to be in it. It's going to be 2 Indy 250 only drivers going for this last spot. So for the first time ever, an Indy 250 only driver will fail to qualify. I say that. I actually might be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. But regardless of the fact, here we go. Bruno Di Giacomo getting up the speed on his flying lap. Coming around to start his fast lap. He must beat a 40.800. We'll have to see what his speed is across the line. Oh no. That's not good right there. 218, 220 is a maximum in the turn 1. Matt Tuck may barely get into this Indy 250 by the skin of his teeth. Oh, 213 off the exit of 1. Not at all what Di Giacomo needs right here. And with how fast these speeds have been in this last night shootout, this is not going to cut it any way, shape, or form. He's not even going to hit 227. Oh my goodness, if you're Matt Tuck, what has gone on in the Wawa Cup Series, at least the past 3 races I've recorded? I haven't recorded North Wilkesboro yet as of this one. So many issues for Matt Tuck in the Wawa Cup Series with Grattan Autosport. And he is going to barely make it into the Indy 250. Di Giacomo fails to qualify. 40.957. That's the slowest time. Matt Tuck has qualified for the Indianapolis 250. He's going to start in the 33rd position on Saturday. And unfortunately for Bruno Di Giacomo, he will not be in the Indy 250, but will run in the Freedom 50. Let's debrief and then get set for the Fast 9 shootout here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And what a session that was. That's all I gotta say. That was something else right there. I didn't think that the times were going to be that fast. They're always faster in the last 9 shootout than they are in the fast 9 shootout, but see the official last 9 shootout results right there. Alexander Rowe will start alongside Tanner Parton in row 14. Row 15 will be teammates at Trackhouse Racing, Angel Olvera and Caleb Rose. Row 16 will be Aaron Abel and Jacob Walker. And then right at the end there, Matt Tuck gets in to the Indianapolis 250, the 33rd qualifier, as Bruno Di Giacomo. Bit of a shock right there for the number 80, as he is the slowest driver in this last 9 shootout. Ace Garcia, Thomas Troxell, and Bruno Di Giacomo will fail to qualify for the Indianapolis 250. But unlike past years, the consolation for those drivers is they will run in the Freedom 50 this year. So those 3 drivers will qualify along with the 15 other drivers in that race on Thursday, and then run in the Freedom 50 on Friday. So an opportunity at an Indianapolis race victory still present for those guys. But it's absolutely got to be a tough pill to swallow, especially for Bruno Di Giacomo, who this is the only attempt he's making in the Haas IndyCar Series this year, his only opportunity, and unfortunately for him, he will not make it on. Very unique session right there. We're going to move on to the Fast 9 shootout, but first, we always preview something in the middle of this every single year. We're going to preview something coming up in just 2 days. As a matter of fact, we got qualifying for it tomorrow. I think you guys are going to like it. You already know what it is, but let's get you pumped up for Tuesday's Wawa Winners Showdown here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Wawa Cup Series.
Hey, so I thought about making a trailer or whatever for the Winners Showdown, but why? Why am I going to go through all that trouble when I don't have enough time to even get this done? So yeah, so tomorrow's the Wawa Winners Showdown. The 12 winners so far are going to be in the race, and it was pretty good. It's not tomorrow, it's Tuesday. Tomorrow's qualifying, and then Tuesday's the race. So yeah, check it out Monday and Tuesday. It was pretty good. Yeah.
And we are excited as all heck for that race. $25 cash prize to the winner, and a $10 cash prize to the owner winner for that race. Kind of a pseudo all-star race in a way. I say pseudo all-star race because it's not the full, we got the Open beforehand and all that. It's simply just the winners that have won Wawa Cup Series races up to this point. Of course, you guys already know who's all in that. I have, like I said, yet to record North Wilkesboro in the Wawa Cup Series at the time of me recording this qualifying session. Want to get all this done quickly because I am going to Indianapolis in real life for the Indy 500, and I got to get all this done as soon as I can. So we get this done pretty quick, and we jump ahead with this compared to the Cup stuff. But Allier are going to be in that race. Matt Tuck, see if I can get it right here. Travis Crampton, Braden Perez, Thomas Troxell, Echo Evans-Ross, Blaine Keys, Chase Buck. Who won after Troxell? It was Rogel Dorn at Talladega, Sam Oskin, Drew Webb, and Seth Cole. And then whoever won North Wilkesboro if it was a new winner. It's going to be the 12 or 13 drivers in that Wawa Winter Showdown. But you guys already knew that. I try to remember off the top of my head who's won. Let me tell you, there's a lot of numbers and a lot of stuff going on in my head with all this right now. This is the busiest time of the year for me in terms of recording, but I absolutely love it. And hey, we're going to love it here in just a moment. Fast 9 shootout. Who's going to win the poll here for the Indianapolis 250? This is going to be a lot of fun right here. Of course, a little bit lighter of a session. No one's going to fail to qualify these 9 guys, and they're all going to start in the top 9 for next Saturday's race. Eric True in the 52, Chase Harris in the 31, Logan Williams in the 38, Avery Alford in the 13, Christian Vargas in the 73, Lona in the 00, Benny Moore in the 37, Brad Stover in the 49, and the fastest guy yesterday, Jay Knapp in the 98. NS Racing just failed to qualify with their Indy 250 only driver. I'm sure they'd love to win the pole with Jay, but we're going to start with Eric True. Let's get him out on the racetrack. Fast 9 shootout underway. Let's see who wins the pole for the Indianapolis 250. Here we go. The Fast 9 shootout for the 2023 Indianapolis 250. is underway. Eric Drew in the 52, ninth quickest yesterday, posted a 40.747. Well, let's have to see what he can do. I mean, this is a rookie driver here to the Haas IndyCar Series, and a lot of newer drivers in this session. Eric Drew, Avery Alford, Lona, Benny Moore, and Brad Stover, all going to be in their first Indianapolis 250s next Saturday. Going to be fascinating to see if any of those drivers can win the pole for this year's Indianapolis 250. One thing, too, I also like to mention, and I don't know why it's like this, but traditionally the Fast 9 shootout times for the pole are generally slower than the last 9 times. It's kind of weird how it works out that way, because the game does not know what's going on. The game does not know, like, which drivers need good times and whatnot. So it's fascinating how it all works out that way. But hey, let's see what Eric Drew can do here. He will hit 227, just a split second, but if this were a last 9 time, it may not qualify for the race the way it's looking right now for Eric Drew. But regardless of the fact, he'll get points towards the championship for starting top 10. And it looks like he's going to go across the line here. Probably around 48 or something like that. I say 48.68. That would have failed to qualify in the last 9 shootout. But the good thing for Eric Drew, he was fast yesterday, doesn't have to worry about that. And he puts his time in here in the Fast 9 shootout. Next driver in line, Chase Harris in the 31. Second driver here in the Indianapolis 250 qualifying session. The Fast 9 Indy 250 qualifying session. I don't know what I'm saying right now. Hey, I tell you, this is a chore to do, guys. It takes a while to put all this together, but hey, the end product is so much fun, and I hope you guys, or at least the ones who don't have to worry about failing to qualify, are enjoying the qualifying sessions here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Always love putting this on as a final product. It can be a little tedious, but hey, we're having fun. That's what matters. And this is always the biggest part of Indy 250 Week, the most work that goes involved, the longest time recording, and it feels good to almost be done. Feels good. Chase Harris trying to get it done here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Going to hit 221 for a little bit right there, but still not one of the faster times we have seen so far into that corner. Going to minimize at 214. This, I do believe, will be faster than Eric Drew's time, however. So Chase Harris, the 2020 IndyCar Series champion, looking pretty solid right here. He'll hit 227 for just a split second right there. Going to be a solid lap for Chase Harris, but I don't know if it'll end up being good enough for the pole. Of course, these drivers are getting faster and faster, leading up to the fastest guy from yesterday, Knapp in the 98. Chase Harris will come across the line, 40.801. That also would have failed to qualify if this were the last 9 shootout. Very fascinating right there. But Chase Harris is right now quickest of the 2 drivers here in this Fast 9 shootout. We'll see how that ends up falling in place once we get next in line with these 7 drivers left here in this Fast 9 shootout. Here we go. Next driver in line, Logan Williams in the 38 machine. Going to be Logan's 3rd Indianapolis 250. Finished second in this race 2 years ago. Excited to see what he can do. He may win the pole. I feel good about Logan Williams putting down a pretty solid time right here. We're just going to have to see. Of course, I'd watch out for Knapp, and I'd watch out for Christian Vargas as well. Vargas, absolutely a driver who's also finished second in this race before, who could steal a pole away there. Of course, both the Ryan Durrani Incorporated cars in this Fast 9 shootout. Eric Drew a bit slower there than Chase Harris. We'll see what Logan Williams can do in the 38 machine for American Motorsports. Oh, boy. Man, it's like this every year. It's kind of uncanny how these times in the Fast 9 shootout are always consistently slower than the last 9 shootout. It's always like this. I don't get this game. I don't know. I just don't know sometimes. I just don't know. Not a good time for Logan Williams at all. He didn't even hit 226 down the backstretch. This will absolutely be the slowest time so far in this Fast 9 shootout. And with that being said, Chase Harris may be in a position to win this pole right here, the 40.801. It's kind of scary. 41.065. So far, every time clocked in here in this Fast 9 shootout would have failed to qualify in the last 9 shootout. Logan Williams slowest, but he's still going to be in the show, and that's what counts. Here we go for Avery Alford, who is last in the points right now here in the Haas IndyCar Series, halfway through the season. But, hey, he made it into this Fast 9 shootout, and judging off of the times we've seen so far here in the Fast 9 shootout, he could easily win the pole for this race. We'll have to see if that's the case for Mr. Alford and Wisconsin Speedworks. Of course, they already have the fastest time currently with Chase Harris here in this session. We'll have to see if they end up beating their own time as a team here with Avery Alford. Pretty good speed here coming to the yard of bricks. And here we go. He's going to hit 220. He's going to hit 221. He's going to hit 222. Here we go. This might be our pole time. I know we're only 4 cars in here to the Fast 9 shootout, but already much faster than the first 3 times we've had in this session. Didn't even hit 214, 215 all the way through turn 3 off the exit. We'll see if he hits 228 here down the backstretch. 227, not quite. He held it for a long time, though. And looking really good here for Avery Alford. What a surprise here, and a pleasant one at that. Great to see Alford had a good run here. Here we go. This is an angle we don't use too often. Coming across the line to complete his lap. Avery Alford is going to go to a 40.679. That is currently the fastest time here in the Fast 9 shootout. And with only 5 drivers left, that may win the pole for the Indianapolis 250. Let's just see. Christian Vargas next in line here in Indianapolis. Here we go for a driver who's been in this race many times before, Christian Vargas. Actually, you know, he's been in it twice before, but still, more so than quite a few of these guys in this Fast 9 shootout. And of course, driving for a team that won this race last year, so Vargas absolutely a threat to win this pole and a threat to win this race, I feel like, especially if he can start up front, which he will regardless, be in the top 9 for Saturday's Indy 250. And of course, the fastest time, 40.679, just set there by Avery Alford. It's going to be hard to beat that time, I feel like. It's going to take quite a bit. Only 2 times yesterday were faster than that. And of course, Alexander Rowe was faster than that in the last 9 shootout, but Christian Vargas is going to give it a run for his money. Oh boy, that was some speed there in the turn number 1, 222. And I think what happened to Troxell, he went too fast into one of the corners and just lost the momentum, and couldn't regain it back, and it's once again still just flabbergasted that Troxell failed to qualify. You know, Vargas really is going to give it a run for his money. 228 there in the turn number 3. I thought Alford might have had it, but Vargas might take it away here in this Fast 9 shootout. Really quick time here, minimum of 212 off the exit of turn number 4. And coming across the yard of bricks, Christian Vargas. I think this is going to be just a bit faster, 40.613. That is 1/1000 slower than Knapp's time yesterday. But that's good enough for the fastest time right now in the Fast 9 shootout, and only 4 drivers left to go. Vargas may win this pole for the Indy 250. Lona, next driver in line here for the Fast 9 shootout, going for the pole in this Indy 250. And it's been a pretty solid Indy 250 week for her already. Won the Grand Prix of Indianapolis on Thursday. The points leader in the Haas IndyCar Series for the 2nd time this season for her. And she's got an opportunity of winning this pole, but the last 2 times have been blisteringly fast, with Christian Vargas currently holding the fastest time in this Fast 9 shootout, 40.613, the 2nd quickest single car lap of the weekend, only behind Knapp's time set yesterday at a 40.612. Lona isn't going to be quite as fast as Vargas or Alford. 221 in the turn number 1. But imagine this time going to be somewhere around Chase Harris's time. I'd stop measuring that. I lost count yesterday trying to do that. I couldn't figure that out yesterday, but we're getting it down a little bit better today. We got it down in the last night shootout. We knew Di Giacomo wasn't going to make it in once he started that lap. Lona on the slower side. It's going to probably be in between Chase Harris and Eric Drew the way this one is looking, I feel like. But regardless of the fact, Lona will still gain some more points towards the championship, as she will qualify top 10. Chris, 10 points down to 1 for the top 10. 40.898. That's good enough for 5th. Not the greatest time right there. Still faster than Logan Williams. But hey, she's still in the show. That's what counts. And she's going to get a couple points out of it in the process. Benny Moore, the last Indy 250 only driver. One of 2 Indy 250 only drivers in this Fast 9 shootout. Of course, Chase Harris the other. But Benny Moore driving for the only true single car operation in this Indianapolis 250 as well. Harrisville Motorsports only bringing 1 car. And they did an excellent job yesterday with the 3rd quickest time. And Benny Moore looking for his first ever Indianapolis 250. Of course, he will be in his first ever Indy 250 on Saturday. Here he is with an opportunity at winning the pole, but it's going to take a lot for him to win that pole. 40.613, the time that he has to beat there, set by Christian Vargas, and he's not going to do it with a 2:18 across the line. This right here may be one of the slower times of this Fast 9 shootout. But nonetheless, Benny Moore will still start in the top 9. It's actually maybe slower than Logan Williams' time right here. This is kind of akin to Williams' time that he said a little bit earlier in this Fast 9 shootout. So 2 more drivers after Benny Moore. Brad Stover, who was very quick in qualifying yesterday, and of course our fastest Jay Knapp in the 98. Benny Moore going to minimize at 2:10 there off the exit of turn number 4. And, hey, at least it's the Fast 9 shootout and not the last 9 shootout. 41.022. 6th quickest for Benny Moore. Vargas still in a great position to win this pole. Brad Stover and Jay Knapp, the last 2 drivers in the Fast 9 shootout. Brad Stover won at Lime Rock Park just about a month ago, a little over a month ago, on the road course. Has had a great season in the Haas IndyCar Series. His first ever start in the Haas IndyCar Series came in California earlier this year. This is going to be his first ever Indianapolis 250. And excited to see what the number 49 can pull off here, because DM Motorsports has been pretty quick. Especially with this 49 of Brad Stover, who has been carrying this team this season. Has to beat a 40.613 to win the pole here, just ahead of Christian Vargas right there. We'll have to see if he can, in fact, pull it off. Coming across the line, he's going to have a chance. 220 across the line, 221. He'll hit 222. Here we go. We could have an opportunity here. I just don't know if he held 222 long enough, but pretty fast off the exit at turn number 1 right there. We're going to have to find out and see. 215 through turn number 2. A good lap there for Brad Stover. And now, will he hit 228 down the backstretch? Oh, he barely tapped it. Just barely tapped 228. I just don't think it's going to quite get to Vargas, but we're going to have to wait and see. This could be good enough for the outside pole. And a front row start in the Indy 250. Brad Stover coming across the line. He's going to go to a 40.670. That is good for second. And with only 1 driver left, Vargas will be guaranteed on the front row. But will he be able to beat Jay Knapp? We'll see what the 98 can do, the last driver in this last 9 shootout. And here we go. Jay Knapp's going to get right out there. Wow. I literally just started thinking, oh, he's going to be on the pit lane for a while. We'll get some time to talk about him. Not the case. Jay Knapp. Now, of course, I understand, Micah, this is his driver, his quote-unquote son. He doesn't actually have a son, but, we like to joke around with that. But still, Jay Knapp is driver. 2nd season in the Haas IndyCar Series. And, of course, Micah will be in the booth with us for the Indianapolis 250. And normally I don't allow a driver to have themselves in the booth, vice versa. But Micah, I always give an exception to, and I try to have him for many of these IndyCar races. I have known Micah longer than anybody else here on YouTube, almost a decade now at this point, and we're very good friends, and we'll be attending the Indy 500 together here in just a couple of weeks. Jay Knapp may very well start on the pole. I actually don't think he will, though, with that time. But regardless of the fact, great to see Jay Knapp get a good run here in Indy 250 qualifications. And it's going to be a great starting position for the NS Racing driver. And NS Racing, they want to have a good run because their Indy 250 only driver, Bruno Di Giacomo, failed to qualify. And even though they'll have the 2 full-time guys in the race, that's still got to hurt a little bit there for Nathan Stapleton, especially at his home racetrack, to have one of his cars fail to qualify. Jay Knapp's going to be right in the middle of the field here for the Fast 9 shootout, I feel like. A good time there for the 98. Not enough for Christian Vargas. He's going to go across the line. It's going to be a 40.879. That is 6th quickest for J Knapp. He'll start 6th. Christian Vargas wins the pole for the 2023 Indianapolis 250. A great time there for the Ryan Durrani Incorporated driver of Christian Vargas, and he will lead us to the green flag on Saturday. Let's go ahead and call it a day. A debrief here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And what a Fast 9 shootout, what a Last 9 shootout, what a qualifying session this weekend. 54 runs made here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And definitely an exciting round of qualifying for this year's Indianapolis 250. Here is how they will line up for the 2023 Indianapolis 250, the 10th running of this race. And Christian Vargas, with 10 points towards the championship, will lead us to the green flag in Saturday's big race. He'll start alongside Brad Stover in row number 1. Avery Alford and Chase Harris, teammates at Wisconsin Speedworks, will make up row number 2. Eric Drew and Jay Knapp will make up row number 3. Lona and Benny Moore will make up row number 4. Logan Williams and Christian Master make up row number 5. Chris Reynolds and John Andrews in row number 6. Cole Raymond and Jim Vincentleff in row number 7. Zachary Fitzwater and Angel Gutierrez in row number 8. Trey Smith and John Stewart in row number 9. Bradley Bradshaw and Roy Ribbleton in row number 10. Noah Clifton and Nicholas Samadillo in row number 11. Justin Zidell and Skylar Taylor in row number 12. Mason Brown and Landon Smith Jr. in row 13. Tanner Parton and Alexander Rowe in row number 14. Angel Olvera and Caleb Rose in row 15. Aaron Abel and Jacob Walker in row 16. And all by himself in row 17, Matt Tuck, the last driver to qualify for this year's Indianapolis 250. The 3 drivers failing to qualify for this year's big race include Ace Garcia, Thomas Troxell, and Bruno Di Giacomo. But for those 3 drivers, they will all attempt the Freedom 50. And I say attempt, they will be running in the Freedom 50 as there are no disqualifications for that race. Qualifying for the Freedom 50 this Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, I think that's when it is. And then the race, Freedom 50 race, 20 laps here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, noon Eastern Time on Friday, May 26th. And Ace Garcia, Thomas Troxell, and Bruno Di Giacomo will join those guys for that race. Thank you guys so much for watching this year's qualifying sessions. Like I said, a lot that goes into these qualifying sessions with the recording. But hey, you know what? It's a lot of fun, and it goes by faster every single year, and it's great to have it done on my end here on May 10th when I'm recording this. That's how far ahead I am with this, but regardless of the fact, we are so excited for the Indianapolis 250 this Saturday, May 27th at noon Eastern Time. Christian Vargas will be leading us to the green flag in the biggest race on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Christian Vargas for winning the pole position. Here are the updated point standings for the Haas IndyCar Series after Indy 250 qualifying. Of course, Christian Vargas receiving 10 championship points. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another qualifying session with the Wawa Winner Showdown. Indy 250 week is only halfway through, and this Saturday, the Indianapolis 250 here at noon Eastern Time from the greatest racetrack in the world. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Christian Vargas once again. And I will see you guys later.